Sage, what you doing, baby girl? Oh, come on now, be careful now. This camera is kind of expensive. You acting up. You acting up now. This is my first attempt at a vlog. Today I gotta get up. It's the first day of my vlog. I'm getting up, trying to shoot some different footage, trying to figure out how to actually make this thing happen, make it work. I already know it's gonna suck. I've talked to a few other guys that do this stuff, and it seems like the first few times you do the vlog, well, probably the first 100 times you do the thing, it's probably gonna suck. I like to wake up. When I first get up, I like to have Folgers Black Silk coffee. It's like the best coffee out there, I think. Bang for your buck. This is what we need to complete today. It's basically like my 4th book, and it's about like railroad law. So I write these books to kind of help people when they get in these situations. It's like a free intro to my firm, so they'll know like how they can get some help. I run a Houston personal injury law firm here in Houston, Texas, and I'm branching into what I have wanted to do for a very long time now, is cannabis law. And so, I spent the past year and a half focusing on my personal injury practice, and I think now is the perfect time to really try to jump into cannabis and really help some other people. There are a lot of opportunities out here, a lot of different organizations that have already been established. And so what I'll probably end up doing is just, partnering or working as counsel for another bigger firm probably. I'm still running my personal injury firm here in Houston. So I'm gonna get licensed in Colorado. I've been to Denver a few times. I love Colorado. I mean, I've been to Breckenridge, and the first time I went to Colorado, I actually went to the Breckenridge Resort for a few days in law school, and it is beautiful. I mean, if you have never been to Colorado, you should definitely go. I mean, to me, it was life-changing. I mean, I felt like I went to law school in West Virginia, and I did an LLM in Houston as well. And West Virginia, regardless of what people tell you about it, it's a very beautiful state. But the mountains are not like, they're more like rolling hills compared to Colorado. You go to Colorado, I mean, those are like beautiful mountains, and I mean the scenery, just everything about it. The people were really nice. Everybody was really friendly and laid back and stuff, and this was a few years ago, so I can only imagine it's probably gotten a lot friendlier since they legalized cannabis. If you haven't noticed already, I'm still at the house. I mean, I'm working from home today. I will go to the office sometimes, but it's just me. I've been, running my own practice, my own self, all this time by myself. And so I don't really have any, I don't have a whole bunch of overhead or anything like that, and that's the way I like it. And I have a really nice office and a nice building not too far from my house. I'm just growing my business, man. I'm having a great time, doing what I do. And I'm just trying to really learn. I'm not really so much concerned with like going out and partying. I like to network with other people, don't get me wrong, but I just don't have the time to usually get out the way that other people do, considering the fact that I'm really trying to be a creator. I mean, I think that's the thing for me versus a lot of other people. I'm trying to figure out, how can I create some businesses? How can I create some things that will stand out in the long run versus just hoping and praying that, someone will come to me for business. I actually been working today trying to get a bunch of claims adjusters on the phone, but it's been pretty difficult to get through to them for some reason. I'm sure they're really busy, but I've been doing that, working on my fourth book. I'm gonna get these other 3 books out by the end of the year because I can't. I need to move that. I can't have all this stuff on my plate, and I need to move that, get it out the way, because I'm gonna write obviously I'm probably gonna write a book on cannabis law or some little snippet, to give out to people as well. And I got a host of other things that I want to do, that I want to migrate away from. I want to migrate away from the written stuff. So it's time to, handle all this, push it out. I'll go back and clean it up, but push it out, get it out there, and then go back and clean it up along with everything else and start getting out in the public. And I'm really going to do that, but, I think for me at least, I had to take this year. I don't know how other people are doing it, but for me, I had to take this year and just say, you know what, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to focus on what I need to do to go forward, because a lot of people, I don't know. Everybody got a different way of doing things. Some people are just like, master networkers, and I can go out and network with people, and I can talk to anybody, really. To be quite frank with you, But, for me, I was like, you know what? I'm trying to kill the game. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to take it over. I'm trying to open up doors and come through this, you know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to do it like that, you gotta make moves. You know what I'm saying? You don't dance, but you make money moves. You know what I'm saying? You got the hey. It's exciting to me because I think the thing about it is you need to be in a place that makes you comfortable with the type of clientele that you have. And so for me, when I first started off out of law school, I went and worked with an older attorney who, I worked with him. I didn't work, I wasn't his, associate, but I worked with him, and he did TABC law. And TABC law is Texas Alcoholic Beverage Control. It's like beverage law. It's like liquor law. It's liquor law is what it's commonly called. So I did liquor law, when I first came out of law school, and it kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of different stuff. And I would go out here to these bars and nightclubs and stuff, and I had my little cards or whatever, and I was like, I want to represent you, or I want to represent your nightclub and stuff like that. Well, it's very hard. People won't tell you this, but it's very hard to jump into an industry like that if you don't already have some type of experience like that. Like the problem that I was running into with a lot of the people is that, they already had attorneys who they were dealing with. And what they were doing is they were saying, well, we got this young guy, he's come out of law school, and, if you don't come down on your prices, we're going to go with him. So they were kind of using me as like a leverage chip, or, to get the older guys to come down on their prices. And, I think the thing about it is that you can make it, as a young attorney, but you got to figure out really what are the issues that this company is facing. And you have to be able to show that you can solve these problems much better, or much better, and I ain't gonna say a much more affordable price, but definitely speed, efficiency, and price are all gonna come into play when it comes to determining if a company wants to go with you as a young business attorney. So I started doing that. I started doing some liquor law. I was representing companies, and then I started doing like some IP work, like just trademarks and stuff for companies that were trying to develop liquor brands, or like they were trying to establish liquor companies and stuff like that. So if someone came to me with like a brand new product, like they had like a new, like they want to make a liquor that like was in the shape, the glass was in the shape of like a grenade or something, or a giraffe or whatever, and they had to go get their recipe, and then they had to go find out where they were going to get the glass from or wherever to make the product and stuff like that. I was doing some of that, and eventually, because I was doing TABC work, criminal law started to come intersect with it as well. I mean, obviously, you representing nightclubs and stuff, strip clubs, and then, they're getting raided or something like that. So I started representing, people who were getting caught up in, drugs and charges and stuff like that. And, it just intersected. So then I made a jump into criminal law. So I did criminal law for, the past few years, a little bit. And then, I really always wanted to go into personal injury law, but people were like, nah, you don't want to do personal injury law because, Texas legislature has made it horrible. You can't get, you can't make any profit. You can't feed yourself or whatever because the medical malpractice caps are at $250,000. And so I was thinking for the past 3-4 years when I was down there, doing this stuff that, oh yeah, personal injury is just out of the way for me. But finally I just said, man, I don't care, what anybody else says. I'm just going to do it or whatever. So I started going into it, I went to the Texas Trial Lawyers College and stuff like that. And, I started writing books because I had already learned from my other experiences. Like the one thing, one of the things about being a young attorney and coming out here and doing this stuff on your own is that you learn at a much more rapid rate. If you're trying to be good, you're going to learn at a much more rapid rate than somebody who goes and works for somebody. And that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be forced to learn. I mean, like when you go work for someone in their office, you're just gonna do, what they tell you to do. I mean, you're not thinking about, a lot of them are anyways, thinking about, oh, how can I make it rain in here? How can I, become a rainmaker? But what a lot of people don't recognize is that you need to be thinking about how to be a rainmaker to be able to stay around, because some of the brightest attorneys as associates in some of these places, they end up 3 to 5 years after they've been there, they're kicking them out the door and they saying, well, you got to go find you something else, baby, because it's a money thing for them. It's a profit thing. Like once you get so much knowledge and experience, like it's not that you're not needed. It's just that you've become, you've become something that is I ain't gonna say unaffordable, you know what I mean? But you become like someone who, like, you worth more than they're willing to pay you because they know that they can go out here and get somebody else that they can pay less. I mean, quite frankly. So, you got to be thinking about how to get that stuff going even while you're young. I mean, even while you in a firm, because, it's nothing. I mean, I have people who are in my office building now who are older attorneys, and they're like, everybody always comes up to me and they're like, oh man, everything you're doing is just like so good. It's a great idea. You should keep going, keep running with that. Because I'm a marketer. I mean, I'm a lawyer too, you know what I mean? But I know at the end of the day that if I don't come out here and do something to get people, in front of people, that I'm not going to get any cases. Like I went to law school down here for a year. I'm not from Texas originally. I'm not from Houston originally. A lot of people rely on their networks, like who they knew before they came down here and stuff like that, their family, their friends or whatever. Well, what do you do when you don't know anyone? What do you do when you move what do you do when you move somewhere and you don't know a soul? You have to be much more aggressive. And most people will go out here and work for somebody else, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, for me, like I said, for personal injury wise, anyways, I started to recognize that, I have what it takes. I have what it takes. To make it happen. Now, with the cannabis law stuff, I'm probably gonna have to work with somebody else because Texas is, like backwater. I mean, when it comes to, cannabis legalization and stuff like that. And I mean, like I said, they got the Texas Compassionate Program going on now. But they're saying that the way this thing is panning out, it looks like it won't even get to serve the patients who desperately need it. So you're going to have more people still moving to Colorado, still moving to California, still moving to all these places just to get their kids treated for epilepsy and stuff, epileptic seizures and stuff like that. And it's crazy. It's crazy that, that's the type of times that we're living in. But I want to be part of that. I want to be part of, helping people, get better and get the medicine they need and stuff like that. And it's really interesting stuff. It's really interesting stuff to me. So I'm gonna push forward with that, and I don't know exactly. The thing about it is you never really know exactly everything that you'll have to do to get ahead, but if you have a goal and you have a dream, you have to follow it. I mean, you have to actually push through on it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna sit here and just hope and pray and whatever. You got to actively take things to put yourself out there. So I'll be launching a podcast on cannabis law pretty soon. I'm sure I'll probably write a little book or something about it or whatnot in the next year. And I'm gonna shoot a bunch of videos and just get out here and let you guys know how excited I am to be a cannabis attorney and a personal injury attorney. And I'll chart my progress, and you can walk along with me. And I'll probably talk about other stuff besides that, because I'm also interested in filmmaking. And I've started a little publishing company for the fiction that I intend on writing as well. I hope this has been entertaining. I know I've talked really fast, and I'm not doing a bunch of movement. I'm just kind of talking. It's not like a film, like a movie, but you got to get started. I mean, that's the thing. And I was really hesitant to kind of even really start shooting a vlog like this, because I was just like, man, you can't say so much stuff. You can't be talking about cases on here, and other lawyers will probably be watching this trying to figure out, oh well, let me see how I can do what he doing or steal what he doing. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm original, baby. I mean, and there ain't nobody that can, you can mimic, you can do what you do. There's other lawyers out here vlogging and doing blogging and doing whatever they do as well. So I think the thing is, you just got to bring your own flavor to it. And like I said, for me, I'm gonna talk primarily about filmmaking, fiction writing. I'm going to go out to a lot of different events here in Houston and probably in Colorado and Denver, some in California in the next year. And I'm going to talk about personal injury and cannabis law, because those are my two things that I'm really highly interested in. So that's it. We looking glorious. The crib looking Victorian. Whatever Macklemore said. But yeah. So that's what we doing. I mean, and that's what's happening. I feel really energized by what's happening in the world around us. Despite whatever is going on negative, I feel like we progressing as a nation, at least on this issue. More than half of the nation is legalized cannabis for medicinal purposes. So that's a really good thing. Like I said, jumping on the personal injury bus, I'm kind of interested in seeing what's going to happen with self-driving vehicles. I mean, this autonomous driving. I've recently read something where they were saying they're going to try to automate trucks. Can you imagine an 18-wheeler on the highway that is an automated truck, like driving past that thing? I don't know if the public is ready for that. I mean, I don't know. I would kind of be afraid of that, and I think most people would be too, but you never know. I mean, hey, we'll see how it turns out.